In the name of Amen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, one and only true Lord, and Amen we trust, as the Republic of Mentellect, the real 144,000 being gathered in this day and time, the mentalists. Menzeka Aminun to all of my mentalist brothers and sisters out there, registered members of the Republic of Mentellect, and to all future mentalists who have yet to find their way home to the Republic of Mentellect, which is Amen's community. I send greetings out to you, and I send peace out to you, in our Amenic language by saying to you, Menzeka Aminun. Good evening, I am your host, the intellectual NUBEN MENKARAYZZ, and this is Mentellect Radio, and tonight we're going to be discussing why society would rather label people as racist instead of mentally ill. Reason being is, and I'm going to say it just like this, all these things you've been hearing, all these things about the racial problem, even from the start of all this racial stuff, the black and white stuff, and the creation of black and white in society, you know, you had, and the people that established the society, they don't want to label these people with all the barbarianism, all of the crazy laws and things like that, telling you that you can own people. It's okay to own people. It's okay to do the things they do in a society. The things that they call racism here, and the people who they would rather be thought of as racist, in all reality, this is nothing but mental illness. This is nothing but people who are bugged out of their mind. They're mentally ill. That's all that is. But and you got a lot of these people of all races, but especially within your so-called white race, of all race, and your black race, a lot of them your black race. These people are just mentally ill. That's all. They're mentally ill. Because they would rather say that white people are racist instead of just what they are, mentally ill and insecure. Because the last thing they ever want you to, that white people, so-called white people, the people who are supposed to be in charge in the society, the last thing they want to be seen as is the face of insanity. They don't want to be seen as the face of insanity. You know, it's one thing to act like that in movies and things like that and play those roles, but they don't want to be seen as mentally ill, right? There's a difference. Let's say, well, I'll say it like this. Mentally ill is, translates as weak. Mentally weak. Mentally insane translates more on a level of power, meaning craziness, as in somebody would attack you. A person who you say is insane, that gives more. That's more power than that carries more power than just saying somebody's mentally ill. You follow what I'm saying? In other words, if they tell you somebody's insane, they do something, that tends to be attached to somebody who will go out and shoot up a school or something like that, or be a sniper somewhere. Somebody who's mentally insane, right? They would rather have any one of those terminologies, mentally insane, racist, right, instead of what it actually is, the foundation of it, which is mentally ill. Mentally ill translates as weak, mentally weak, debilitating, degenerate. That's what it translates as. And that's what this actually is. But, of course, they can't say that because Caucasian people, the ones who are in charge, they cannot have the caste system dictate that quote-unquote white people are mentally weak, mentally feeble. They can't have that. Just like they can't have white Caucasian people being the face of bad health, being unhealthy. Notice how when they did the COVID-19 thing, it was factual that more Caucasians were dying of these things left and right, and the Asians, and it wasn't really black people dying of that, but then they turn around and find, then they all of a sudden these fake facts start coming in of all these so-called black people dying of COVID, and then now black people are more susceptible to get it, making up stuff. Because they cannot have Caucasian people who are supposed to be in charge in the society looking like the face of bad health and the face of mental illness, because that means that they are dying. And that is the real case. That is the real case. When you see people starting to lose their minds, When you start to see people, that's when usually their bodies start to go. They start to deteriorate because it ain't too long before, once you start losing your mind, your body start going downhill as well. Your faculties are not intact. Why you think you see a lot of these Caucasian people, and they like I said, they just look like, they not in good shape. No real muscle tone to them or nothing like that. I mean, unless you see some of these Caucasian ones who like in the gym and really working out. But the average white person, they look like a bag of dirty laundry. All right? No muscle, no way, like they dying, they like they out of shape. They eat a real bad diet, but of course they got to shift it on the so-called black people and talk about how unhealthy black people are. Right? Same thing they did with the AIDS thing, how AIDS is first a white homosexual disease in the 80s and whatnot. Then all of a sudden it turned to, all black people get AIDS. Now black people are the face of AIDS. So they have to do that. They don't want to be seen because, again, it doesn't go along with their status. Their status and their very survival and their place in the society depends on the image that they give you. The image of prosperity, wealth, you understand? Living in good neighborhoods, having all this land, all this money. Of course, that the image of them not being healthy, physically and mentally ill, they can't have that. It don't go hand in hand. You follow what I'm saying? So I would rather be presented as a racist because, see, a racist, if I call you a racist, sure, they could say, I don't like black people. I don't like black people. I don't like black people. No, you going to sit up here and really give energy to them. And who does that? Who sits up here and really gives energy to people that they don't like? Who does that? If you got so much going on in your life, why do you give energy to people you don't like? Why do you want to have any kind of encounters with people you don't like? Why do you put yourself in alignment or put yourself in the way of people you don't like if you are so-called racist and you don't want to be around those people? Yet these people are on your mind. I'm talking about the white people that do. I'm not talking about the ones who don't. I'm not saying all of them. Some of them are a little more stable mentally because they, like I said before in the last broadcast, they've been domesticated. But when you start to see that heavy rash of racism, that is the people coming unhinged, unglued, and they are becoming feral or wild, a.k.a. Mentally ill. They're starting to lose their minds. You see, their minds are going on them, which is why their bodies go on them. When your health is bad, that's a sign that your mind is bad. You see, when you start letting yourself go, you're letting your weight go, you don't try to take care of yourself. So that's these people. And it's the same thing with black people. You see, they don't want to, black people, they don't want to admit the same thing. When you see all these guys out here who join in gangs and, all into all this nonsense out here, whatever the case may be, you're like, that's mental illness, man. Anything that's going to make you kill somebody because they got the wrong color on. You got on blue, so I'm going to kill you. You got on red, so I'm going to kill you because you in my neighborhood. How is that any different than you killing somebody because of the color of their so-called color of their skin? You kill somebody for the color of a rag they wear. You kill somebody for the color of their skin. Again, you're killing for colors. Again, this represents mental illness. These people are out of their minds. They are out of their minds. And again, like I said, you can't have the image of white people in power being mentally ill. Because then, like I said, it comes to question the decisions they make. Right? And if you question the decisions they make, then you question their rulership. And if you question their rulership and the decisions they make over the lives of billions of people, then guess what? You start to look for ways to circumvent that. Because whatever one ain't getting done, if the mind ain't strong and you ain't in a position mentally to govern and rule, that makes you open your spot where you govern it. It makes it open to other people. People starting to look at you. They don't look at you with the same authority no more once they see that you're weak mentally. You see, that's why, and when that starts to happen with a lot of these old Caucasians, these ones who got money and things like that, when they starting to slip, this is when you start to see a rash of racial stuff happen, okay? See, in other words, to hide the fact that they're slipping in society mentally, they have to do some enact some racial things for so-called black people, or do something just to show, oh, I'm doing this because I'm on a status, and just because you blacks are beneath me, and I'm doing this, that, and third. But I'm like, odds that you still, even focusing on black people, okay, that's fine. You don't have to like people, whatever. You don't have to like who you don't like. But how is it that you got time to sit up here and enact all kind of racist things and put things in effect and whatnot? Just leave things alone. Live your life. Because at the end of the day, that's all people are going to do. You can't affect nobody's life, and they can't affect yours. You see? But people do this because they are mentally ill. They are mentally ill. It's a lot of mentally ill people around us, black and white, and all races in between. We have to be mindful of that. You see? We have to be mindful of that. Black and white. You see? A lot of mentally ill people around us. And see, again, why they don't want to promote white people as mentally ill when they do all this racial stuff, or they walking around. Look at all them things, driving while black, calling. You going to tell me these are not people who are mentally ill calling the police on little kids selling water, or doing selling water on the corner, or whatever, blocking people into, asking where you live at in here and blocking people in. Wait a minute, if you're afraid of these people, what the hell are you blocking people in places for? Calling the cops every 5 minutes. You going to tell me this is not mentally ill people? And the police have to answer these goddamn calls? You going to tell me these people are not bugged out? They don't want to say, oh, these white people bugged out of their mind. You see, they don't want to say that. They don't want to, like I said, because if they say this one Caucasian is bugged out of their mind for calling the cops on black people, then that sets a precedent like, okay, this is not really a racial thing. This is a mental thing. These people are out of their minds. And we can't make it seem like they're out their minds. They white like us. We got to all seem like we together on this. We got to present a united front. So, okay, we'll take the call, and we'll investigate the black people. We'll know 9 times out of 10 they story check out, and they doing what they doing. They going about their business and whatnot. And all of this, that, and the third, because these people feel threatened and whatnot. Again, a lot of these so-called police, most of these Caucasian police job is to make these bugged out white people, these older white people who bugged out of their mind, these younger ones who bugged out of their mind and insecure, got all kind of mental issues, to make them feel secure. That's their job, to make a bunch of mentally ill people feel secure by abusing others who are not mentally ill. That they do that at the behest to make these people feel secure. What they don't understand is when you start catering to people who are mentally ill, I don't give a goddamn what race they are. Once you start catering to mentally ill people, calling you up for stupid shit, right, bugged out of their minds, once you start catering to that, that's the end of your society. Just like you cater to faggots, you cater to lesbians, you cater to mixed race, all this madness. Once you start to cater to madness, catering to racists, catering to terrorists, like a good example of this, these so-called white militia groups. They gonna sit up here and talk about they gonna take the government down and all this other stuff, but the government is not gonna call them terrorist groups and lock them up. But they don't see that by catering to these people. I don't care if they black or white. If they black like you, white like you, whatever, same race, you're catering to insanity. You're catering to insanity, and if you are truly going to be a society that's going to grow and evolve, you cannot cater to insanity of any type of form. Whether you're trying to cover it for your people or anybody else, you can't cover for that. You got to call it out for what it is and do what you do. Wait, lock it up. Lock it up. When you got insane people who are posing a threat. I'm not talking about their words. People can say whatever they want to say, but when they're talking about they showing up in front of damn buildings with guns in their hands and whatnot, like they threatening, and y'all sitting up here catering to these people because you don't want to make it look like these people bugged out of their mind, because you know what you do with people who bugged out of their mind. You so-called white people know you, the ones who got your mind right. You Caucasians who are really controlling the society, you know what you do with bugged out people who pose a threat, who up here walking around with guns and stuff like that. You know what you do. You know what you do. You put them down. When a wild dog is going crazy and whatnot and is threatening to bite people, do you show up and try to, put the dog in a choke or whatever? Y'all, as much as it might hurt y'all gonna put that dog down. Because the animal's insane. The animal is wild. And that's what a lot of your people are becoming. You so-called white people and you blacks, the ones of you who are out here gang banging and all this other shit. You know, doing what you doing, shooting somebody because the man told you to put a goddamn mask on your face, all this madness. They want to promote it as racial and whatnot. But like I said, it's people who are mentally ill. You don't cater to mentally ill people. You don't cater to that. You don't cater to mentally ill people. You don't try and make them feel secure. You tell them what it is and to cut that stuff out and do what they, get them back in alignment. You don't cater to them. Why does this society say y'all don't cater to terrorists? Why don't you cater to terrorists? You don't cater to terrorists because to cater to terrorists would mean that you are now giving the power to govern or control to people who are out of their minds. That's what that means. But you want to try and justify when you do it. Because you want to save the face of Caucasian supremacy, whatever y'all that white supremacy y'all trying to push, you rather save the face of that and just instead of admitting that you got crazy people in your race that are bugged out of their mind. And that a lot of y'all share the same insanity. Because for you to sit up here and still act like black people or some so-called black people, so-called or something new. You've been seeing black people all your damn life. All of a sudden, you just got to go and do something. If you see a so-called black person, you got to just call instead of going about your business. You're not going to call it what it is. But see, those are the people who get people killed. Those are the people that get people hurt. Those are the people who get hurt themselves. You see? Those are the people who get hurt themselves. Exactly. A bunch of wild animals on the loose, black and white. I told you before that animal frequency is high in this three-dimensional realm. That animal frequency is high here. Why? Because you still got people who are animals in charge. You still got people with the animal genetic in charge. So, of course, if you got people who are the animal genetic and they still in charge, their vibration and frequency is going out into the atmosphere, and, of course, it's going to be picked up on by other people. That's why I said thing is not going to be set right all over the planet until the dominant people, the people in their right mind, the almond people are in alignment, the almond race are in alignment, and the humans are right in alignment behind them. You see, until the order is set right in the fourth dimension, nothing's going to be made right. Because in the fourth dimension, there ain't no insanity, man. Ain't no crazy people in the fourth dimension. It's very well understood who is in charge, who is in power. It is very, very clear. See, it ain't clear here yet. It ain't clear here yet. So, unfortunately, a few things got to keep happening in order for that to come about. And it's happening gradually. It's happening gradually because those of you who truly see what's taking place here, you see that all of these chain of events, the whole black and white thing, the kid getting shot, and it is something that happened 2 months ago, and now they just reporting that you got Black Panthers showing up in the white man neighborhood and white Caucasian neighborhood and whatnot with guns, which don't even make no sense to me. You showing up 2 months later, but whatever, right? How racist could that neighborhood be? You got a black man, a so-called black man, all black with a damn gun on him, standing out in the so-called white neighborhood. Yet the police didn't come and arrest you. Something ain't right here. I'm sorry. Something just ain't right. On both sides, black and white. Something ain't right here. You see, a lot of stuff ain't right here. A lot of stuff is being allowed. Like I said, certain people are trying to stir something up on both sides. You see, that's all this is, and that's all I'm going to say on that. But again, this is people manipulating insanity. This is people manipulating insanity. Understand that we are in a three-dimensional world, and in this odd world, based on the odd number, the odd frequency, the lunar frequency, you're going to see all kinds of crazy stuff as we're heading into the fourth dimension, as we're heading into the sun cycle. Or should I say into the sun stage? I'm not even going to call it no cycle, because there's not going to be no goddamn cycle. Ain't going to be no circle. There's going to be one long, continuous path. And a lot of people are going to die on this goddamn path. Trust me. On this way here, you're going to see a lot of insanity, because when you're at the end of something, when you come in, something coming toward the end, you see a lot of turmoil, and that's just basically people who are not making it into that next stage. So a lot of these people who still got that old, bugged out, insane way, these people are showing us that all the insanity from black, white, and everything in between is just coming out. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing insane people coming out, showing themselves. This is what you're seeing in living color. All races. Because I told you before, and I looked, I said, how would that have been different if the kid Arbery would have been in a black neighborhood and a bunch of gangbangers would have chased him down and did that to him? Somebody telling me about a story, and I'm like, I'm not trying to cape for or trying to cover for the Caucasians. I don't care about them. I don't care about them. I don't care about the so-called black people, because y'all just bugged out of your mind like white people. Like I said, it make me laugh how niggas try to act like they treat each other better than white racists treat you. You try to act like you niggas treat each other better. Like y'all just so on point, and y'all got so much respect for each other as so-called quote-unquote black people that, y'all don't call each other niggas and be ready to kill each other in a heartbeat and fight over something and whatnot, but you don't call it racism. You call it black-on-black crime. Notice that, black-on-black. See, they still try to make it about a color thing. See? Notice how they do that? Black-on-black crime. Instead of it being black-on-white, they'll just call it black-on-black. Instead of it's just crazy people who bugged out of their mind, people who got mental issues. You see? People who are just lunar beings, people who are out of their goddamn minds. That's all. You don't want to see it that way. You don't want to say it that way. But all this stuff clearly has the mark of insanity on it. All this stuff clearly has the mark of insanity on it. Things that people say, but it don't add up to how they live, how they are. It don't add up. You see? That's what I'm saying. It just don't add up. You see? So that just lets you know something's not right here. Something is not right here mentally. Something is off. You see, we got to start looking at things beyond what they really are, looking at things for what they really are. You see, beyond what people tell us they are. We got to start looking at things for what they truly are. Right? Look at things for what they really are. When you see so-called white racists coming at you, it has nothing to do, like I said, they'll say it's a racial thing, right? But again, is it a racial thing when the police profile you, or is it a predator thing? Are these predators in uniforms who prey on the people who they most likely think won't say anything about it? You see, people who are mentally disturbed predators, right? Who have a sick obsession with black people, right? A sick obsession. You want to call it racism. You want to say it's because you hate a black person. If you hate the black person, then the last thing you want to do is be pulling niggas over. You don't want. I don't want the problem. Hey man, I'm trying to get up here, write you niggas a ticket, give you the goddamn ticket, get you out my face, man. I don't want to be talking to y'all longer than I got to. The only time I want to, if you start all that getting upset, okay, I get that, but I'm trying to get this over with, man. You know what I'm saying? Because most of these guys, like I said, anybody in their right mind look, man, I'm just here trying to do my job. I want to go home. I want to see my family. But when you got people who bugged out, they probably, they don't like their family. They don't like their life. People, they only find joy in doing what they're doing because no place else without their uniform, they'd be zeros in life. They would have put a gun in their mouth a long time ago, but what keeps them going is doing the insane shit that they do. That's what keeps them going. These people are mentally ill. So instead of like that white guy or that white guy who come home to his family and whatnot, and you know he has a normal life, he comes home to his family and he he goes to the bar and he drinks and whatnot, but he doesn't have an outlet for his insanity, his mental illness, right? Like you might have a white guy who go out here and go out here and on his weekends and whatnot and go hunting for women and kill them and throw them in a damn ditch somewhere. That's his mental outlet. That's his way of getting his insane thoughts out. You see, some of them don't want to go that far. Some of them will just put on a damn blue uniform and a badge and whatnot, and they do that. They'll put on a blue uniform and a badge and just do that to black people. That's their way of getting their outlet on. Because again, black people are black people are chosen because it's easy to do it to black people. Those are the ones who are more than likely, because they know they got a history of doing it. They know black people ain't gonna say nothing. They ain't gonna do nothing. Nobody, most of the people they work with got this same insane mindset of a sick obsession when it comes to black people. Again. But if black people wasn't driving on the roads and they ain't had nobody stop, they start stopping Mexican people, white people after the time, and like I said, that sick obsession will eventually come out on their own time. Because again, these people are sick. These people, the only reason they don't do it to other white people is because, again, they would get reprimanded for they would make more of a scene for them, and they more than likely would lose their jobs if they did it to other white people. You see? So they have to find the people who people would more than less likely not care about. Because trust me, like I said, if it wasn't black people, they'd be doing that, profiling somebody else. It'd be Mexicans next or whoever. White people with black hair, white people, they'll find some reason to do that because that's what they do. People who like problems in their lives, they will always visit and try and create problems because they like problems. These people are mentally ill, you see. They like problems. They like to find themselves in problems. These are problematic people. You see, these are problematic. It's a lot of that's what people usually are who bugged out of their mind, because you don't know they bugged out of their mind till they do something crazy. They're problematic people. These are the people that get into arguments with you for nothing. You see these people in stores and whatnot. You bump into them the wrong way. You say something. You look at them wrong. They ready to fight with you and everything. What the fuck you looking at? All that stuff. Like, you got people like that. They not in their right mind. You got that demonic spirit all over the earth, man. And it shows itself in a lot of different ways. You got that demonic spirit all over the earth. You see, and a lot of people are open vessels for it of all races. Your so-called white people are the ones who are more open to it than anybody because of the animal genetic in them. So they're more open to it. They're more emotional to it. Again, they are the most recessive people. So again, they're more open to that demonic frequency. They're open vessels to all that demonic frequency and picked up in the fact that they got that animal genetic. You see? So it makes them lose their minds. It makes them act out of order. And again, this is why, like I said, they have to create something called racism as a reason as to why they're doing that. They have to create something called racism as a way to hide their mental dysfunction. You see what I'm saying? Because if you ask these people, you say, well, what is it that you got against black people? They can't really tell you. Oh, they steal all the time. Did anybody steal from you? No. Well, won't white people steal too? Well, black people steal more. Based on what? Yeah, well, that's what I heard. No, you making up stuff. You making up stuff. You see? You making up stuff. Whatever issue you got is an issue inside of you that you allow to come out in you. You can't be that afraid of black people, or that if you sitting up here and like I've seen a lot of these race videos, these Caucasians up here approaching black people, asking them where you're such and such. Why are you approaching people that you claim to got a problem with or that you're afraid of? Who the hell are you to approach anybody? But that's what people do when they're not in their right state of mind. When they bug the hell out of their mind, they do stuff like that. You can look at them and tell they got an off look to them. They got an off look to them. You see? A lot of, like, what did I say about the police? They know that the police department hires a lot of people who are mentally ill. But they want to keep that whole racial thing going of white cops, right? More white cops. But they know the mass majority of Caucasian cops they hire are mentally ill. They're mentally ill. You see? And mentally ill people who are mentally disturbed, will go out into the field and disturb other people. They'll go and bother other people because they're disturbed. You see, they'll go out here and pull over people and put handcuffs on people and be all up in their face and looking for altercation because they're ill. And like I said, they don't want to turn those white men away because they need Caucasians and police department to maintain that look of supremacy, to like they in charge. They need more of them on the police force. Coupled with the fact you so-called black men, y'all ain't taking no police test, the ones of you in your right mind. Now, am I saying all so-called white men are like that? No, some of them are domesticated. Their minds is somewhat okay, but, there's always a 50-50 or 80-60 chance maybe, depending on how much of our genetic is in them, whether they're going to flip or not. Because if our genetic is more in them, 9 times out of 10, if a lot of our genetic is, because you can see some of our genetic in them, their minds might be a little more stable. You see, but that's not even no guarantee with that because, like I said, a lot of the so-called black race is bugged out of their minds because they're under that animal frequency. They bug the hell out of their mind. You see? Look at this COVID-19 thing. Look at how all the mass hysteria, who the ones doing all this crazy shit out here but white people over something, over this so-called pandemic. Who doing all this crazy shit? You going crazy like that, that's just your excuse to act out as what you want to. You see, that's just your excuse. A lot of these people, this COVID-19 is their way to act out their sick obsession, because notice now they done turned COVID into a racial thing. You see? And you got these people up here, with the social distance and the police. Again, you got a lot of people who are mentally ill in law enforcement. A lot of people who are mentally ill. You got a lot of people who are mentally ill in the government. A lot of people who are mentally ill running these corporations. They bugged out of their goddamn minds. They're off. They're dysfunctional. Like I said, because again, a person with a sane mind, if you are in charge, you want things to run smoothly. You want things to run smoothly. You don't want no problems. Because no matter what you're doing or what you're trying to do to the people or what you're trying to institute over time, you should want things to run smoothly and quietly as you are doing it. But if you keep allowing these things to happen and you're allowing these things to occur, then things are out of order. And that means things are not running smoothly. And if you're running things out of order and not smoothly and you're not able to make the transition, that means you are dysfunctional. You're not a good leader. Leadership should be flawless. Leadership should be flawless. Leadership should be flawless. Then somebody said Trump bugged out of his mind. Yeah, he is bugged out of his mind. You can see, you can tell he bugged out of his, something wrong with him. You know what I'm saying? Whether he's playing an act or a role or whatnot, something's wrong with him. You can see with the last presidents and whatnot that was in office, like your George Bush and all them, they had their mind pretty well more intact than he did. You know what I'm saying? All the ones going back, all the white ones going back, their minds was more intact. Remember when it was a time when the president's position used to be a role that was respected? Now, there's no respect for that role no more. Because you got a lot of bugged out people. You see, you got a lot of bugged out people who are in charge. They're not in their right state of mind. But like I said, they can't say that They can't say that, the police department can't say we got a lot of people who are mentally ill. Because then they would have to drop a lot of their class, especially in these small southern towns. And they don't want to hire blacks, so-called blacks, who a lot of times, they'll take one or two, but they don't want to hire a lot of black, because then that'll really bug white people out that they got blacks in charge telling them what to do and being the police. That will bug them out of their mind straight. They already bugged out of their mind already. So a lot of times when they make these people police, it's just to comfort these crazy motherfuckers. Excuse my language. It's to comfort them, to give comfort to these bugged out people, because they bugged out themselves. They understand the madness. They understand the sickness, and they don't want to see their people in no damn being classified as crazy. But y'all already know. Y'all see how a lot of these so-called Caucasians, how many of y'all work in nursing homes, you see how a lot of these Caucasian people's minds go when they get old, how quick their mind go? You see how quick their mind go? When they get old, when these white people get old, they just go straight into dementia. Our people, black people get it too, but nobody go, like I said, nobody get dementia and start bugging out like they do. You know what I'm saying? They just lose their mind as they get older. You see? They just lose their mind as they get older. You see? So, and like I said, it just goes to show that these people will rather cover up the insanity of their own people, the mental illness of their own people, to keep their image up, to keep their image in power. Because, again, mentally ill people is an image of people who are mentally unfit to rule. And they can't have that. They can't have that. Because then that means a stronger people got to come up and rule. A stronger people have to come up and rule. A more healthier people have to come up and rule. You see? They got to show you that. They'll let you know they bugged out of their mind. They know that you so-called black people. That's why when they approach you like that, they know y'all ain't crazy like them. They know y'all ain't crazy. They know 9 times out of 10 that you value life and you want to live and you want to go home, and that's what scares you. But see, when you get them bugged out black people who don't give a shit, who they know might flip out, they usually tend to leave them alone. Them people who ain't playing with them like that, like I said, they leave those people alone. You see? Because they don't know if they're going to ever encounter those kind of people. Right? They don't know if they're going to encounter those kind of people. Those people who bugged out like them. Because if you ever notice, whenever you see them black people, the ones who go all out, you notice there's been a lot of stories out here, you know, that they don't show you, the news don't show you, when a so-called black person just flip out and lose it, and just go out and, you know, and just like take out police and want to kill white police officers. You have black people do stuff like that. They don't never report stuff like that, see, because they don't want black people to flip out. They don't want you to flip out. Because, see, once black people flip out, right, once they flip out, then, like I said, that's a whole nother thing. You know, you got to always have certain people operating from a level of sanity. The only reason why there has not been a race war is because black people have been operating more from a level of sanity than fear. Because it wasn't about fear. It wasn't about fear why black people didn't do nothing. And a lot of times where they were racially profiled and, you know, all the racial stuff they had to put, it wasn't about fear. Because niggas will kill each other in a heartbeat. It ain't about fear. They don't care about going to jail. They don't care about getting killed, a lot of them. They don't care about that. But what they care about more than anything is trying to maintain a certain mindset here to keep going on doing what they're doing, keep on committing their insanity. I'm talking about the black people who didn't flip out. They found a reason to keep going, family, whatever, or their insane life that they embrace, but no, it had nothing to do with fear. Because insane people, crazy people, like I said, they don't have no fear. They don't have no fear. You see? And you got a lot of bugged out people out here, black and white, who have no fear. You see, and what they don't understand is when they pushing all of this stuff, they're going to breed a whole another generation of young black people who are going to be on that effort mindset. They're going to be on that effort mindset because really they want to breed insanity in our people. They want to breed insanity in our people. They want to breed the black and white insanity in our people and start getting our people to think above and beyond black and white and think of it on another level. You see, everything ain't just black and white. And when, because there's something always more to a picture than people show. There's always something more to it. You see? And like I said, people say, oh, people trying to make it more than what, you trying to make it, yeah, it's a black and white thing. They hate you because of the color of your skin. I said, okay, then why are they not doing it to the East Indians and the Mexicans? I don't hear no racial profile on the East Indians and Mexicans. They skin not Caucasian. They're not pale skinned. It's something else. People who are mentally ill. Because again, if I say that, okay, we're not going to call this racism anymore. We're going to say people who profile and do the things they do are mentally ill. Then I have to say, well, what do you do with a person who's mentally ill who is in your space and invading your territory? I then have to defend myself. I then have to either pull a gun out and kill that person, white or black. I then have to get into a stance and fight and beat the hell out people to get crazy people out my face. They don't want you to start dealing with crazy people as you're really supposed to deal with them. Like I said, like wild animals, you put down wild animals. You put down wild animals. All right? That's what you do. I told you they done made a lot of these police officers, like I said, who got that wild feral animal energy going through them. They done let them put badges on. That's the worst thing you could do. That is the worst thing you can do. You putting 10 people who are mentally ill on as a way to so-called beef up your police force or, get people in line. No, that's not going to help. You're going to just create problems. You're going to create problems. Trying to show or present a stance or image of yourself, trying to create an image of yourself, and in the process you're creating people who are not happy with that image. You're creating people who are not happy with that image. And they're going to match you on the level in which you're taking it. You thinking you're taking it to the next level, but then you're going to end up finding people who are going to take it to an even higher level. And they're not going to care about your badge. They're not going to care about your gun. They're not going to care about your family. You see, you got people like that who snap. They snap as you keep fucking with them. Or they keep hearing that, people being pulled over and racially pulled. You ever see these black people that just, you've seen black people when the police pull them over. It might be a white cop who just really pulling you over for a ticket. And you see these black people start acting up, what you want my ticket for? Ha, ha, ha. They start feeding into that insanity. You seen that? That done happened a bunch of times. Y'all done seen that, the black people, there plenty of times the cops pull them over. Why you want to see my license? They start feeding right into that insanity that was created by your whole racial thing. Now, if you would have just been like, okay, well, sir, it makes it better on the rest of your police. Because when you are actually trying to give tickets and you want to just go home and you don't want no problems and whatnot, when you want to be like that, you made it bad because the police officers that you protected that shot somebody who are bugged out of their mind, who it could have been handled another way. You didn't have to shoot the person. You didn't have to do all that because that creates problems. When you cover for people like that, it's only going to be bad on y'all. It's only going to be bad on your officers who don't want no problem later on down the line. These people put you in danger. But because y'all want to protect that image, because you want to so-called protect that, it's going to put you in danger. Next time you go into a neighborhood and like that thing that happened in New York with the so-called little fat sloppy Dominican cop, Dominican cop, You know, calls up, beating up a little dumb nigga with his pants hanging off his ass. I can't even really sound angry about that. Little dumb nigga with his pants off his ass. You know, and that's good because a lot of you little niggas walking around your pants, y'all need y'all asses whooped, man. A lot of you little niggas need y'all asses whooped. I don't care who don't like what I'm saying. A lot of you little niggas with your pants hanging off your ass, these pink shirts on. That, you know, all this effeminate shit. A lot of you niggas need to be whipped back into manhood. You need a hard kick in your ass. You see, they'll put people like that Dominican cop, little fat pudgy punk ass cop, who 9 times out of 10, if he see you in the street without his badge and his gun, he ain't gonna say nothing to nobody. He ain't. He threw down somebody who would look like they 10 pounds, weigh 10 pounds soaking with a brick. But they do stuff like that. That type of person who does something like that, for those police, they too stupid to understand that person puts you in danger down the long run. Because next time y'all go into a neighborhood, and y'all thinking people gonna get tired of the police bothering you and whatnot, them little niggas that will stand in the corner, next thing you know, they're gonna be ready. Y'all bagging up a line of somebody, next thing them niggas might blow down on y'all. Just let off. And then your badge ain't gonna matter. They run down and you put bullets in your police. Because they mad at what we tired of this. So you created that insanity that came back to hit you in your face. Or when that police pulls somebody over the traffic stop and they're like, why is fucking police pulling me over? And next thing they pull out a gun and whatnot. When you come up to the car, they shoot it out with you and we don't hit you. Because of hysteria, you allowed these pulling over people for nothing. You allowed them to create this. This is what I'm talking about when I say you cater to insanity. This is what I mean when I say you are catering to insanity. You see? That's what I mean. So keep that in mind. That you cater to this insanity. Black people cater to insanity. They are part of the insanity as well. They are part of it as well. Don't let them keep on trying to get you to believe that, oh, nah, this is just, it's all the way around, black and white and everything in between. Like I said, you got insane people. Insane. People who are off. People who are not in their right state of mind, and they're not going to be. So a lot of society is going to have to be thrown away. We'll be right back. Insanity is mental illness is a sign of a people who are out of touch with reality. And if you are out of touch with reality, you are out of touch with the Most High, the Most Continuous. You're not in alignment. See, the only people that's going to be truly in touch with reality is the people who are being pulled into the fourth dimension. Those are going to be the only ones who are truly in alignment with reality. Everybody else is going to be off. Everybody else is going to be off. All right? When you are doing things, like when you got time to worry about, what other people are doing, what they, people selling water, people barbecuing, you calling police on people, that's a sign that these people are starting to have a mental meltdown. These people are losing their mind, and this COVID-19 thing has not helped the matter any. It has not. It's only going to escalate it. This COVID-19 thing is not helping matters any. It's only going to escalate because when you start telling recessive people who are already mentally ill, people who are already mentally deficient, that a virus can come and wipe out the whole entire population, do you know what kind of hysteria you're going to have from the general population? But wait a minute. Obviously, that's what they want to happen. They want mass hysteria. They want to see how many people are bugged out of their mind. and I not say a government is short for governmental, meaning control of the mind. They know that a large population, a large part of this population are mentally ill. People are mentally unstable. And you can't just say, but they know a lot of the people who are mentally unstable is white people. They know that these people are mentally unstable, the young through the old. These are the people that commit suicide. These are the people who will sit around and do racial attacks and drag people from pickup trucks because just for anything, because they so-called black, the black and white thing, sitting around going up to courthouses holding guns in their hands, all kind of crazy shit, off the wall shit. You see, they do stuff like this because this goes to show you that these people are not in their right state of mind. They have not been in their right state of mind since they came here. They have not been in their right state of mind. Because it's one thing to take hold of something and to call yourself governing it. It's another thing to try to alienate people inside or within the government. It's another thing to do that. That's not even good practice or policy. The elites who control this thing, they bugged out of their mind. They're a little more stable mentally. I'll say this about them. They're a little more stable mentally. They're a little bugged out themselves, but they're more stable mentally than the majority of these Caucasians. They the most stablest. You see, they're the most stablest. They got more enlightenment. They're a little more stable. And I told you, because they are the Luciferians, they have more enlightenment. They're a little more stable. Your so-called Zionist Jews, they're more stable. They know they got to reside over people who bugged out on all sides, black and white. They know that these people that they reside over, who they control, the black and white races, are bugged the fuck out of their minds. They know that. They know that. Excuse my language. Sometimes it's going to get a little raw and uncut. And they usually, this is why they take them through rituals that bug them out of their mind, like they do in Hollywood. How they make the so-called black men who get in Hollywood, they got to make sure they buck broken first. You know, they got to make them do all kind of weird stuff like that. They did to slaves and slavery, raped them, basically mess up their mind. Because again, that goes back to what I said. These people are bugged out of their mind because again, it's one thing going back to slavery. It's one thing to come over here and get some land and get people to work for you and whatnot. It's another thing to I now own you and your children, and I can rape your women when I want, rape your children. You bug the fuck out of your minds. See, white people don't want to show that part of the slavery, the pedophilia, the anal rape of men. They don't even want to really still admit that they was raping black women back then, all them little mulatto offspring on the damn plantation. They don't even want to really admit to that. Because all that shows is that these are people who are mentally ill degenerates, that they want to call plantation owners, that they want to call presidents, senators, and congressmen and scientists, that these people are all mentally ill and degenerate. A society of mental degenerates and perverts and freaks. A society of wild animals who work together. They already know that this is what they preside over. And of course, they had to create that mental illness in you, so-called black people. They had to create that same mental illness in you. That's why they made sure they beat you, raped you, traumatized you, put Jesus on you, all that to drive you out of your mind. And it has driven you out of your damn mind. Till now, here it is, black people bugged out of their mind. You want to sit up here and praise the image of the same white man that was beating you in the damn fields. You're going to sit up here and praise the image of the same white person that was beating you in the fields and call that God. You going to tell me that's not crazy? You going to tell me that's not crazy? That's like a white person that's like a bunch of white people going into a church with a big black Jesus up there, and they're going to be like, oh, the Lord Christ, and they open the thing, it's a black man with an afro. They'd be like, what the you already know. And only because they logically they know they God's supposed to look like them. You see what I'm saying? Logically they know they God's supposed to look like them. But they got black people so bugged out of their mind, black people don't understand they out of their mind. See, this is what they basically bred the same insanity in you. You worshiping an image that don't even look like you. You gonna tell me that's not off? You gonna tell me that's not off? Niggas going faithfully to that. They got you to worship an image of the same person who's beating you, share a religion with the same people that's burning crosses on your lawn. You got to be kidding. And still do it today proud. And still do it today proud. You gonna tell me all over the country, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. Y'all bugged out of your mind. That shows you off. They got you black men to stick needles in your arm to self-medicate yourself to shoot heroin. You gonna tell me that's not crazy? They got you bugged out of your mind doing stuff that's off. They got you so-called black men in the Civil War to fight on the side of your slave master to help keep you in slavery. You gonna tell me that's not insanity? You gonna tell me that's not insanity? You black men come back from all these wars and going out and fighting and killing white men, but then you got a problem with killing white men over here who try to harass you under the so-called term of racism, but you had no problem killing white men over in World War II, or in the Revolutionary War, or in the damn independence war, because black men fought in every war in this country, but y'all got a problem with killing white men because they got white sheets on, or whatever. People was giving you just burning crosses on your lawn. You got a problem with that? Really, nigga? That's a sign that y'all bugged out of your mind. That's a sign that you bugged out of your mind. You see? That's a sign that you bugged out of your mind. They let serial killers run rampant. And let me tell you something. The law enforcement know that there's women that pop up missing, women, white, black, and everything in between. Children pop up missing. They know in all these areas they got serial killers and whatnot, crimes that go unanswered. They ain't trying to find them people. And they know it's white people they probably know in their town, their city. They ain't trying to find them people. Be somebody living next door to you. You see? Because they know that this society, like I said, because there's no real culture here, and you let people here who were insane, who had no real culture, no real image, no nothing, come from nothing. They come here and they still got that animalistic behavior in them. And black people have that animalistic behavior in them as well. They have adopted it. It's in a lot of their genes. A lot of these beasts, these Caucasians, they got their genes mixed in with you so-called black people. So a lot of times that bugged out recessive genetic come up in a lot of you Negroes. You start acting like your white counterparts, talking all out your head, talking crazy. You see? All that starts to come out. They sit up here and they touched you with their insanity. You let their insanity get in your head. See, because again, if something is happening to the so-called white man bad in this society, he's gonna make sure it happens to you so-called black people too. If something bad is happening to the so-called white man, if he's suffering from a plague or whatever the case is, he's going to make sure you niggas get it too, because black and white, as they've been putting in their head, you can't have black without white. So they feel like if they're going out, they're taking you so-called black people with them. Remember when they said that white people found they thought they had some COVID-19 or whatever, and they was going around talking about trying to infect color that you can, or really meant black people, trying to infect every black person you can, touch this and lick this and do this and do that, and whatever. Again, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? If people are actually doing that. You see? They're going to make sure if something wrong with them, they're going to make sure something is even worse with you, even if it ain't got nothing to do with you. So whatever happened to them, even if it ain't got nothing to do with you, they're going to make it have something to do with you. You see? They would rather call these men plantation owners and slave owners instead of what they are. But see, here, they would rather call these men plantation owners and slave holders, right, to make it seem more prestigious instead of what they actually are, which is a bunch of kidnappers and a bunch of land thieves. A bunch of land thieves and kidnappers. They want to call them plantation owners. They want to call them slave owners. No, what you are you are kidnappers human traffickers, so-called human traffickers, kidnappers, and land thieves. That's what you are. That is the foundation of the society. You see, that is the foundation. To try to act like it's anything other than that is crazy. It's crazy. They unleashed, when black people went to California to get away from, so-called black people went in the 40s and the 50s and things like that. When they went to California to get away from the southern racism and things like that, they, you know, that's what really why the LA police force got built up. The LA police force, they started getting these Caucasian, because they didn't have much police in like LA like they did in like major cities like New York. The more and more west you went, it was like Los Angeles, Nevada, Arizona, all them places toward the west, more and more out in the, going in the Midwest, as you going out, the more it was less and less law enforcement. So black people went out into those places to get away from the racist police. But they imported these crazy mofo. They imported them out there. And this is what you got today out in L.A. when you see the police beating up on the white police, beating up on them. Those are transplants from down south. So they transported crazy people there when you were trying to go to a place where you could have a peace of mind, where you wouldn't have to deal with racism. They transported crazy white people down there, crazy white males down there to basically make your life a living hell. They transported crazy, bugged out people who got mental issues. See, the racial thing is just an excuse to hide their mental issues. The racial thing, oh, I don't like you because you black. I don't like niggas. I hate niggas. I don't like niggas. See, that's just an excuse to hide the fact that I'm insecure about myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm insecure about myself, right? And I'm mentally ill and recessive, and therefore your presence bothers me because I'm insecure about myself. Every time I look at you, I see everything I'm not. Because if you're secure with yourself, then people shouldn't, like, the races of people and all this other stuff, working with people, dealing with people, that shouldn't even bother you. If you're secure within yourself, dealing with people, speaking with people, respecting people who respect you, that shouldn't even bother you. How you look, the physical makeup of you, that shouldn't even bother you. People who still talk like that, who using the race as an issue and how people look and whatnot, why do you care about how people look? Why do you care? That's the most bugged out. They're gonna tell you that's what race is based on, how another person looks. Why do you care? Answer: because you're mentally ill. Because what you're doing, you're projecting. When these people project their self-hate onto you, they hate themselves, so therefore they hate everything. Because again, if you hate somebody, it's really because you hate yourself. That's really why. That's why I say I don't hate nobody. I don't hate people. I don't love them either. I deal with people as necessary. And I'm very detached. That should always be your mind. I don't got time to think about whether I like or dislike how you look. And I ain't got time for that if I don't prefer you, because again, you only thinking about stuff like that, how people look and things, like really putting energy into that and, treating people a certain way because of how they look, is because, like I said, it's something in you that makes you feel uncomfortable with yourself, not with those people. You see? That's what makes you feel uncomfortable. Even when you hear me talking about white people and the humans and the animals and the animal genetics, I'm not saying that because I hate white people. I don't hate white people. I don't hate nobody. I'm saying that because it's a fact. You can see it. I'm not saying it because I hate them. I'm just saying I'm stating what their scientists said about their animal genetic. That's all. And we can logically see without their scientists even telling us. What they hair, they fur, we can see that. It's not no hate or nothing like that. It's just reality. You see, a lot of people can't see. Crazy people can't deal with reality. Bugged out people can't deal with reality. And when you enable crazy, bugged out people, that will be the downfall of your society. More and more you enabling and telling these crazy bugged out ass people, oh, you know, you can call the cops if you see a black person, or you put it in the air, they could call the cops if they see a person doing, or they could call the cops if you, man, you catering to insanity. If you tell a cop, oh, you know, we're going to back you up, bro. If you beat up one of the niggas, if you beat up some niggas, we'll back you up, bro. Or we're going to go around in the car, you know, we some white boys from some white boys, you know, made it to detective, so we can take this time, jump out and beat up some young niggas and have fun, and go back to our cop bar and laugh about it over some damn Budweiser, or whatever the hell y'all drink. But then, you keep on doing that shit. You keep on doing that instead of just going and doing your job, riding around and just going and getting your coffee and donuts. You're going to make it bad on the next guys who jump out. Because the neighborhood, the people going to get tired. You keep pushing anybody like that, people going to get tired and they not going to care. Then these little thugs, they're going to start, all these little thugs, the guys you talking about, next thing you know, you got them, when you profile, you got them hemmed up against a bodega, or you think you barking off the street, and then they next thing you know, everybody's, them camera phones, that used to be the camera phones are now guns, pointed at you, and they busting, and they not trying to shoot at you, they're shooting you, because they tired, because you put that craziness out there. You basically set up here and cape for crazy people who you know shouldn't be wearing no badge. You trying to, and you hiding behind the racial thing of it. It's not racial. You covering for people who are mentally ill. Stop that. We'll be right back. Mass hysteria and whatnot, racial disfiguration, all kinds of things. All kinds of things. When America sat up and allowed, because, you know, and I don't think nobody ever expected that to happen, but that should let you so-called black people know how sick these people are around you. When those two white men did what they did to Emmett Till, right? When they did what they did to a young boy, that should let you know how sick these people are. That should let you know. And a lot of white people, though they didn't convict them guys, a lot of white people wasn't down with that. Some white people who were more domesticated, got their minds somewhat right. They knew that was off, man, what them two white dudes did to that kid Emmett Till. When the mother showed the face of how her son looked, that even made a lot of the hardened racists, the ones who just, you know, just gonna still want to go and live their life like, damn, that was too much. You see, now, and you know, I'm figuring that that's over. That's, you know, some of them, and I'm like, or if you didn't have a problem with that, forget the whole racial thing. I'm not putting it from a point of, oh, these white guys felt sorry about what they did. It's not about that. It's just certain things you know are off. Like when these guys, and then I mentioned a friend of mine years ago who he was a police officer. Well, he was a hospital police, right? And he had this young wife who we found out they found him. Like I remember my brother told me they found him with his throat slit, face bashed in, head bashed in, face beat in, throat slit, right? And it made me think about what happened with Emmett Till. That somebody would be that barbaric to do something like that. And come to find out, it was so-called black males who did that to him for insurance money, right? Insurance money, and these guys never got arrested. Never got arrested. Beat him like a savage, like a wild animal. Beat him to all kind of disfiguration, like the same thing these white males did to Emmett Till. That's off mentally, and the white men, they gave that a pass by letting these guys go in and do nothing to them. They sat here and watched, I forget what city what state that was in, where they executed that 12-year-old boy in an electric chair, George Steiny. They executed a 12-year-old in an electric chair, let him burn to death in an electric chair for a crime they say he committed on 2 girls. They said that it was literally impossible for him to do in 1944. So that just lets you know how sick and demented these people are, that they would do that to somebody. That you still got a lot of these mentally ill people here. And again, they can't make it what it is. They have to make it something more. They have to make it a racial thing. They have to make it a racial thing. Yeah, you'll say they was motivated by race, but like I said, a killer will kill regardless. A killer will kill regardless. You see, don't matter what their victim is. Same animal frequency. Same animal frequency. You see, black and white are on that. Now, if I'm going to tell you something I told you before, and I will say it again. When people look at, if you feel as though you got a person who is out of their mind coming to you, coming towards you, if you feel like you got a person who is going to put hands on you, grab you, touch you, or whatever the case may be, or they're coming and they actually approach your space and try to do that, what happens when one of these women, what happens another time when, let's say, one of these white women calling themselves blocking a black person or whatever the case may be, what if a black woman flip out and pull a handgun and shoot that white woman, kill her? Because this woman was trying to go to the store. Is she wrong? No, because she's looking at a crazy person. She's looking at a crazy person who's blocking her in. I don't know what you blocking me in for. What happens when you police pull over a guy on the highway and they done seen all these videos of black men being shot down by the police? Now, in y'all stupid minds, y'all think, oh, yeah, these niggas, we got these niggas scared. These niggas, when we pull up, they going to be scared. What if he's so scared, he say, you know what? I'm not letting this white man kill me. He going for his gun, so I'm gonna be quicker. And he just happened to catch you, and you just not happen to be your day. You see, because of the hysteria y'all created, because of the hysteria you allowed your partners to create and stopping black people for stupid stuff, making up tickets, harassing people. People gonna have a breaking point. I told you that. And it's not going to be something that's going to be fixed. Nat Turner did what he did because of the insanity that he kept seeing going on around him. So he fed right into that same insane energy and went ape shit. And put all you white people, put all them white, over 60 white people to death. And y'all white people went crazy. I was scared. But they had it coming. They had it coming. They had it coming. Because when you unleash insanity on a people, people were going to unleash it back on you. You see? What you think, you keep putting pressure on people, you don't think they're going to snap? That's why you had a lot of Nat Turners take place, and they have a lot more they just don't tell you about. Because they don't ever want you to see where that insanity comes back to bite them in the ass. When they don't say, yo, just chill out with this, man. Come on, man, chill out. We need to chill out with this, man. It's going to eventually bite us in the ass. People are going to just flip out. That happens. Y'all don't think it'll happen. You know, these niggas ain't going to never do nothing. But you know that it's a reality, and they know it's a reality. That's why they're making sure they're trying to effeminize a lot of these black males, because, see, it's the same way they beating up on a lot of the black men and whatnot, and they trying to also effeminize the black man, take that warrior energy out of him. It's going to come back. And it's going to come back with a vengeance. Because of something y'all started. That insanity that you let go. You can't unleash insanity on the world or be an open vessel for insanity and don't think it's going to create a rippling effect. And that rippling effect touches you and not in a good way. Touches your families and not in a good way. This is what you do. Stop labeling it racial and label it for just what it is, insanity. Insanity. A lot of crazy, insane white people. And like I said, you better start labeling it as that. You people in the law enforcement office, you better get rid of these Caucasian officers who pulling people over, stopping black people, because they're going to put your lives in danger. I'm telling you. They're going to put your lives in danger. You better stop answering the calls of these white women who calling cops on people and whatnot and harassing people, because they're going to put themselves in danger. You keep poking a stick at a person, you keep on poking them, they're going to eventually flip. And it's all because of what you started, just instead of leaving people alone, letting people be. People out here shooting videos and whatnot. They trying to make the gram. They trying to make that. They're going to be on bust you in your goddamn head and be filming it on Instagram, on Facebook Live, or blow your fucking head off right on Facebook Live and right in front of everybody, and just to get likes, and then they'll blow their own fucking head off. That's what you unleashing in the name of racism, in the name of sexism, in the name of atheism, in the name of all of that ism. Think about it. So let me go ahead and read these questions. Excuse my raw language. It's just that night. Why does this society label people as racist instead of mentally ill? Because, again, white people would rather be called racist than crazy. They'd rather be called racist than crazy because, see, as a racist, you can always maintain this air of superiority as a racist. But as a crazy person, you cannot. As a mentally weak person, as a recessive person, a person who is insecure, which is really what these white races are, they feel insecure. They try to lie and talk about they supreme and they so great. That's all BS. That's all BS. Every time they turn on the thing they worship the most, they turn on the TV and they looking at black men running up and down because they love sports. They looking at basketball, they looking at football and whatnot, and they worshiping those men who play that game and whatnot, because that's like gods to them. The NBA and the NFL is supported by Caucasians, not by black people. Caucasian males support the NBA. They go to those games. They buy the racist whites. They up here talking, yeah, LeBron's the jump. They do that. That ain't you. They got the money to support that. So, and those are the ones who are the owners. So every time they see that, they thinking to themselves, niggas all cut up, niggas could jump, niggas could run, they got fast they are. I bet you got a lot of black girlfriends and white ones. I wish I could be them. That's really what that's coming from. That's really where that's coming from. Then when they look between their legs, you already know that's the end of the story. What are they trying to hide? Their inferiority complex. They're trying to hide their inferiority complex. Does this 3D world move on insanity in order for the beast to stay in power? Yeah, it does. In order for them to stay in power, they have to operate this three-dimensional world of insanity or this odd frequency. They have to navigate through it. And after a while, and we come into that while, the fourth is going to throw everything into a whole nother level. Can this be fixed? Yeah, by way of the fourth dimension. Be along for the ride. Are people aware of this fact? The elites are, but they're unwilling to do anything about it. I don't know if there's anything they can do about it, but, it's not going to be good for them. But that's it. We're going to close on the name of Amen by the power of Amen. In Amen we trust, and Amen we think, and in Amen we continue forward forever. I am the intellectual NUBEN MENKARAYZZ. This has been Mentellect Radio. See you guys back here tomorrow at 10. Good night.
Rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. Still Republic of Mentellect, black race to the white race. If it's hell, and then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you.